This is Renewal Radio right here in the studio. The one, the only, Mayor Dan Gibson. Good evening, young man.
Hello, Leon. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about
Happy
yourself?
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Man, Tuesday's almost in the books. Where did this day go?
Well, hey, that's called speed.
I know.
Yeah.
And speed has definitely been a good word for us lately because everything's going at a fast speed.
Absolutely.
We had a great meeting today. I want to give a few updates about that meeting. We're going to go ahead and jump right in. Just several good things. First of all, I want to make the big announcement first. We announced this at our meeting today, and that is that our raise grant, our Force of Freedom project, that will bring so many great advances to North Natchez from the flyover, Devereaux Drive, St. Catherine, all the way through Revels Plaza, downtown, all the way to the Bluff.
Very good.
That grant is back on.
All right.
You know, it was about a year ago this month that I was at Alcorn in a meeting with Dr. Tracy Cook, president of Alcorn, when I got a call from U.S. Senator Roger Wicker telling me that the city of Natchez had received this historic grant, almost $25 million, a raised grant for the purpose of making transportation improvements and other improvements throughout this region of our city. We celebrated. It was a really big deal. And then at the very beginning of the year, the grant was put on hold, and we received notice that the new administration was reviewing all of these grants. So our grant has been just at a complete stop. And we started in January up until just a couple weeks ago, working very hard with our delegation in Washington to do what we could to really move the needle on this grant and get it back going. And to get word that it is now back on, and we, the city of Natchez, are one of only about 10% of cities awarded these grant funds last year that is back on.
Very good.
And I have
Very
to
good.
really say, every time we reached out, they were there. And our senators are the ones that really made this happen for us, Senator Roger Wicker and also Senator Hyde Smith. I was able to visit with Cindy Hyde Smith several times on this, along with Senator Wicker, dating back to early January. And as recently as just a couple of weeks ago, the city's lobbyist, former Congressman Greg Harper, was actually meeting with Senator Hyde Smith. They both have a connection to the administration and to the new leadership at the Department of Transportation that we knew would help us. Well, help us they have. And I was at an event in Oxford, Mississippi this weekend with Senator Roger Wicker, and it was a real honor to be able to thank him in person for what he and Cindy Hyde Smith have done to get Natchez back on the map. We're not calling it a raise grant. That was the terminology under the Biden administration. The Trump administration has gone back to build grants and more interested in infrastructure than some of the other components. We may see a few things amended in our grant. We may be taking out the EV chargers, but we're working with Entergy to have an alternative and to put EV charges for electric cars down at our convention center. We already have them on the north end of our bluff. We also may make a few other tweaks. We will see. But we have had a 5-month delay. But the fact that this historic grant is now back on for the city of Natchez. Our landscape engineer with Neil Schaefer, who helped us with this grant, Russ Bryan, he said it well last week when we got this news. He said it's great to get the grant again, to get the grant twice.
Yeah.
And it is a historic grant, and it's been very meaningful to me because we know for some years this corridor between the flyover and downtown has been overlooked. And we've got to bring it back. Included in this grant will be a revitalization of that entrance into Natchez, signaling that people can come to downtown that way. They don't have to just take the flyover and bypass this area. But it also will include improvements at the forks of the road along St. Catherine, our Revels Plaza project, It will also include handicapped accessibility at the intersections downtown and some improvements also at the Bluff along Broadway. So we're very excited about this grant. I do ask for people's patience. We are getting back into the where we left off 5 months ago. We were about to begin awarding contracts to various consultants and engineers needed for the project. Very likely we will be in bidding and then construction stage about the time these projects take time, $25 million. I imagine we will be in construction phase when we next time roll around to be reelected. So I told the alderman today, I said, well, we'll all be saying for reelection with a lot of things going on, and I just hope the public will be patient with us, but it is progress. Also, speaking of grants, we discussed today a grant that we received last year, a federal earmark through HUD, $1 million to help us with both the Revels Plaza project to honor Senator Hiram Revels at the location here, what we call MLK Triangle, and also to honor our U.S. colored troops. And this being June, we actually had our board meeting today at NAPAC, the African American History Museum downtown. We've been doing this ever since the beginning of our administration to show unity and to show an appreciation for our black heritage here in the city during this time of Juneteenth. And so
I meant to make that and I missed it.
it was a great meeting. Gosh, it was a great meeting. A lot of great things discussed and a lot of harmony, unity, a really good meeting. But what we were excited to accomplish today, you know, we've had this grant for a while. HUD has now made the money available. We're going to be able now to get the projects done. And let's talk about the Natchez U.S. Colored Troops Monument Project. It's going to be built on the north end of the bluff, on the northeastern corner of that north end at Madison and Broadway, in the very area where the U.S. colored troops during the Civil War actually mustered for their morning drills. It's a historic piece of ground, and the Monument Committee, under the leadership of Robert Purnell, has been working on this for many years, for about 4 years. But we were able to take the plan, work it with our landscape engineer, Russ Bryan, Neil Schaefer, and we were able to keep their design, but make it a little more feasible for the budget we have and for the future. So it's a smaller footprint. The actual statue, ultimately, we will have to raise money for the statue. That's not included in the grant, but the statue will be beautiful, 6 feet, standing on a 2-foot base with beautiful live oaks, a beautiful plaza around it, benches that honor the regiments who served, all 6 regiments. And the statue will actually depict the Navy, the Army, and the militia, the infantryman. And they will all be depicted there with the naval officer looking off to the river, the Army man looking at you straight on as you enter from a sidewalk into the brick-paved surround, and then the infantryman standing to the right of the soldier. We also anticipate some nice landscaping, lovely live oak trees flanking this area, but not at all what had previously been anticipated. Mr. Purnell put it very well when he addressed the board today. He said, you know, whenever you're doing something, you aim for the stars, and then reality sits in, but you're real happy to land on the moon.
I was about to say, you aim for the stars, but you hit the moon.
You hit the moon. It's going to be absolutely beautiful and very appropriate to honor all 8,000 who served here in the Natchez District, more than any other location in the United States during the Civil War. We also will be able to link up through virtual technology with the National Monument in D.C. and the African American Museum of Civil War History in D.C. and and we have a registry of all the names, and there will be a way for people to pull that up. Now, eventually, we'd love to have a wall of names, and that is included in the design. That phase, though, will have to come later as funds are available. The third announcement, I have something discussed today. I don't know if you noticed, Mr. Leon, but starting yesterday, we have 14 prisoners assigned to us full-time now from the Mississippi Department of Corrections to assist our Public Works Department in taking care of our city. Oh. This just happened. Mm-hmm. And so we made that announcement today. For the past several years, we've been going to Woodville to get inmates in the morning. We only have them part-time each day, and here lately just a group of 4. You can hardly get anything done with a group of 4 when you get them, and then just a few hours later, you have to turn right around and take them back. So I reached out to the governor's office because it's becoming harder and harder to maintain all of the public areas of our city, our streets, our curbs, our right-of-ways, our parks, our picking up the trash, and even just watering the plants. And so we reached out to the governor's office for help. The governor put us together with the Department of Corrections, and we also reached out to Sheriff Hedrick for help. Sheriff David Hedrick in Concordia Parish has a long-standing friendship with Burl Cain, the Commissioner of Corrections. They obviously are both from Louisiana. Burl Cain actually used to be at Angola before he came to Mississippi. Oh. Well, we spoke to quite a few officials in Jackson, met with some last week, and Sheriff Hedrick started a conversation also with Commissioner Cain. And we had very special cream of the crop gentlemen brought to Woodville on Friday. And we picked them up yesterday, and we took them home after a full 8 hours. We had them today. We'll have them from now on. And these are individuals who, within a couple years, will be approaching a time for their release. So we met actually with a gentleman yesterday with MAGCOR, Magnolia Correctional, a division of state government that oversees work programs for inmates. And we're working on a strategy with our workforce development team to create a workforce development program that allows these individuals to be rehabilitated over the next couple of years, to actually have a financial stipend, not costing the city anything. This is coming through a grant that we have applied for. And if all goes well, we will not only have this full-time work crew of inmates, soon to be 16. That's amazing. That's 4 times what we've been having, full-time versus part-time, available for nights and weekends, too, for special events. But we will have them also as part of a workforce rehabilitation program, and our goal is to be the first city in the state to do this. I have long felt that it's in the taxpayer's best interest, and it's also in the inmate's best interest, to not just lock them away and deny them of an opportunity to further themselves, or to release them without any means of getting a job or caring for themselves, only to see them come right back in. No, this is a means of actual reform and helping these inmates have a fresh start. We're calling this Natchez Operation Fresh Start. Oh, okay. We'll have more information soon, but folks, just be careful as you make your way around our town, because we've got a lot more people out there working, running weed eaters, lawnmowers, caring for our public areas, and it's just a prayer answered, a real prayer answered. Speaking of workforce development, we made some hires today of contracted instructors who will soon be teaching carpentry, more phases of electrical. Oh, okay. Also, we are working on our plumbing program. We are working on more phases of our other technical programs, heavy equipment operations, CDL, helping to bring back more opportunities for CDL. We have just freed up 6 new slots that the grant is paying for. Sadly, we have 16 who have applied. We only have 6 slots. We're going to try to open more. But what we are excited about is we've taken, and I've got to give Tawana Williams credit, our director, we've taken from just an idea in 2020, a beginning in 2021, an actual hire in 2022, and now here we are approaching almost $1.8 million in grants and programs that are now teaching coding for IT development, electrical, carpentry, plumbing, heavy machinery, and also continue to work with the Fallon Center to do more, Alcorn, Colin to do more. It's a new day in Natchez. It's a real blessing to have this Department of Workforce Development. And I want to also thank Dr. Corey Wiggins, who is the National Director at the Department of it's the Delta Regional Authority. He has helped Mississippi, and he's a gentleman from Hazelhurst. We know him well, and we're so grateful. Dr. Wiggins has really helped Natchez. We've gotten a lot of grants through the DRA. We also want to thank Governor Tate Reeves. He's helped make the inmate work program happen, but also he's been very helpful in getting these grants for our workforce development. Now, with all this said, we also took action on another Delta Regional Authority grant today. The city received over $500,000 for a project to shore up a retaining wall that holds up Silver Street. And you may be asking, holds up Silver Street? But when you get on Silver Street, that very steep hill going down, if you were to go to the river and look back, you'd see that entire street, that very steep street, a lot of buses and a lot of tourists and locals go down that street, is held up and is supported by a very old brick retaining wall. Thanks to the Delta Regional Authority, again, and the governor, we have the money to repair that wall, and we're able to award that bid today. And it's been a long time coming, but that project will soon be underway. Speaking of the river, last week I signed the lease with American Cruise Lines on the area where they will soon develop a $4 million dock at Ferry Street Landing, and they will also be giving the city $500,000 for improvements to the riverfront at Silver Street. So some great things happening there. We also are continuing to work on our plans to abate environmental issues and then tear down the Fry building so that can be a part of the Eola redevelopment. That was discussed today. Also discussed today were so many great things happening in the city. And let's take a moment to remind people that we are about to be celebrating Juneteenth in Natchez. And it's very important to us here in Natchez because Juneteenth represents so much of our history and the black history of Natchez and the heritage that we have there. And so, as we've been doing every year since the beginning of our administration, we will be having, in partnership with various groups in the community, and with this station, Malcolm Innes and New Vision Broadcasting, we'll be having some great activities. The Cheeseburger Challenge, a great opportunity Thursday night to be at Holy Family Academy for a musical gala and celebrating all the great things happening at that Holy Family Academy that's been serving our community for so many years. There are so many things, I can hardly name them, but I'm going to say we've got Fishing with the Fathers Saturday. Saturday morning, we're going to encourage dads, come out with your kids. A bus will be there, at the National Guard Armory on Liberty Road, loading up to leave at 7:30 to go get an early start. You know, the early bird gets the worm, and the early worm gets the fish. And so we want to thank, Alderman Ben Davis, Ward 5. Alderman Davis has been doing this for a number of years now, and it's a great partnership with so many others held at Bob Deering State Park. Also this Saturday, I do want to give a shout out. It's not part of our Juneteenth, but they are having a car wash at the it's going to be held at Andrews on Main Street as a fundraiser for the Natchez Adams Animal Efforts, Humane Society, and so many great things. So I ask people to come out for that. We also, Monday, will have our Day of Unity at Jefferson Street Church. Been doing this ever since my predecessor, the Honorable Darrell Grinnell, started this in June of 2020, right before the election that year. We will be having this again, and we will have it at Jefferson Street, 12 o'clock. We will have some inspiring words and song, and we're asking people to please, churches, sound your bells at 12 o'clock Monday. There's a great event going on at the Fraser Center next Thursday for our youth on George F. West Boulevard. Thursday night, next week, a week from this Thursday, we'll have our kickback at NAPAC. We're going to chill. We're going to give awards to various individuals in the community who have really been outstanding in their efforts to promote Natchez and serve Natchez. And then at 8 o'clock, we are going to form a procession with luminaries, and we will be walking to the bluff, making our way slowly to the north end of the bluff, where a flag will be mounted at the future site of the U.S. Colored Troops Monument. And there we will honor the African American ancestors of Natchez and those who served in the U.S. Colored Troops. The NAACP is having an event next Friday at Concord Quarters. Next Saturday, we're having an open house at the Dr. Banks House. That's also a fundraiser for the house from 10 to 2. And I know I'm missing stuff. Just go to the city website, Facebook, local media, New Vision website, WTYJ. It's all listed. I think I'm out of time.
You're absolutely right, Mayor.
I just want to thank you, Mr. Leon. Thank you, listeners of WTYJ. And thank you for those who tune in on Facebook.
Absolutely.
We've had some great things happen and great things announced today. God's truly blessing our city, and may He continue to bless us, keep us, bring us together in harmony, in unity, and let this be a wonderful celebration during June for all of us.
And that's Mayor Dan Gibson right here, 97.7 The Beat, Natchez Renewal Radio, natchezradio.com.